Hey guys, so one of the most frequently asked questions I get about my hybrids is, do they feel like real teeth? And I think that a better question is, how are they similar and how are they different from real teeth? So I'm going to answer the first question first, and then I'm going to get into all the other stuff. So to answer whether they feel like real teeth or not, no, they don't. They don't feel anything like real teeth. I guess they feel kind of like a combination of teeth and dentures. It's really hard to explain, so I'm going to show you and demonstrate what I have, and a lot of you already know this, so feel free to fast forward. But for those of you who don't know what I currently have, I've got my first set. They just kind of hang out in a closet now, but this is the set that I won in a contest. So all of my videos before August of 2015, that right there is what was in my mouth. And that's so weird. I feel like I'm really exposing myself. So this is the upper. And as you can see, there's 4 different little casings there. And then I'm going to try to insert a picture of the abutments sticking out of my gums somewhere around here. And these go over those. So the abutments are kind of screwed into the implants, and then that gives them something, something sticking out of my gums. And then this right here goes over them, and then they just screw in the hybrids. As you can see right there, that's the titanium framework showing through. So that's where the acrylic kind of wore out right there. I'm not having that issue with the ones that I have right now. So anyways, they just go in, they screw in, and then they fill that hole after the screw goes in with some like sterile gauze to protect the screw, and then they fill it in with the composite material. So that's them. And as you can see, there's only 4 on top, and again, 4 on bottom, same situation. So anytime I bite, all of the pressure from my bite is evenly distributed amongst all 4 of my implants. So I feel it simultaneously all over my mouth. If I push in one area where an implant is, I can kind of somewhat feel the pressure difference there from when I'm pressing elsewhere, but it's something that I've gotten so used to that I don't notice it anymore. So no, they don't feel like real teeth. With real teeth, you can, there's all these different sensations that you have with real teeth that it's hard to even remember, because you guys, I came from a pretty bad situation and I was very hesitant to chew down on things. When I was 18, I bit into a piece of broccoli and it broke one of my teeth off. That's how brittle my teeth were. They were just kind of crumbling and falling apart. So it's been a very, very long time since I've actually enjoyed chewing with a mouthful of teeth and just it feeling totally normal. You know what I mean? But the thing is, this becomes a new normal. After a while, it's something that you don't even really think about, assuming that it was done properly. So now I'm going to get into the how it's similar and how it's not similar. So one of the ways that having these implants is similar to having teeth is that I don't think about what I'm eating. Like if I go to a cookout and they've got some ribs up there, no questions asked, I know I can bite into that and there's not going to be an issue whatsoever. In fact, like my bite force is significantly stronger with the implants than it was with my teeth. Even if my teeth were at their healthiest, I would still have a lot more force in my bite with these just because of how sturdy they are. The implants are down into the bone. They've integrated. There's titanium framework that's reinforcing them. They're placed in a way that evenly distributes all of that pressure. So if I'm biting here, the whole thing is bearing the full load of my bite. And I hope that makes sense. So that's a way that it's similar, is that I can eat whatever I want and not think twice about it. But a word of caution is that if you don't have a good framework, and if if it's not made in a way that's very durable, like I've said before, the acrylic that they used, they processed it a little differently. It compacted it. It's a lot more dense. It's more durable. The Ivoclar teeth, they are stronger teeth because they're so layered, and there's a lot of components within them that makes them stronger, like different materials that they used in making the actual teeth makes them stronger. Now I'm pointing to these. These are not Ivoclar teeth. These are Ivoclar teeth. So my whole setup is just very strong, and I feel very secure biting into anything that I want because I have not held back yet, and I have had these since 2015 is when I got them, and I've never broken anything. I've never chipped or cracked anything, so they've been doing really well. Aside from eating, another way that they're very similar to real teeth is that initially when you get any kind of like full mouth restoration and everything's changing in there, it takes a little bit of getting used to talk properly again. I mentioned a little bit of that in my previous video. To eat and to not bite your tongue, like you're kind of getting used to the new arrangement, the new layout. So there is a learning curve there. However, once you've established that and you've gotten used to them, they're not going anywhere. There are no little movements that you would normally experience with dentures. Even when you have them secured with adhesive, there's still going to be some mobility that you notice. But with these, they're not going anywhere. I mean, they're in there permanently. And, you know, of course, until the dentist removes them, which doesn't happen every visit. So that's another way that they're similar to natural teeth, which also means that I don't have to worry about taking them in and out, which is a pro and a con, you know, because when you can remove them, you can clean them a lot easier. You can soak them, remove all those stubborn stains, and use different types of products in that regard. So that's a pro to having any kind of removable denture or over denture that snaps and whatnot. So I'm definitely not knocking that at all. But I don't take them out. And so when I go into the bathroom in the morning to brush my teeth or at night before I go to bed, I'm not having to take them out and go through that process of wiping my gums and stuff. It's very similar to how I would maintain my teeth. The only difference is that I thread my floss underneath my implants, like under this part right here. It goes through there and out the back, and then I'm just sitting there flossing, which is kind of weird. It still kind of freaks me out a little bit. It's strange, but so that's a little different. But again, I'm not taking them out, and so that's a lot like, you know, having my natural teeth. A little bit of normalcy that I haven't experienced in a very, very long time. The difference between these and your natural teeth is, for one, your bite force is definitely stronger. You got to be careful when you first get them and you're not used to them. You could bite your tongue, like bite the tip of your tongue really badly. They're different in that I don't get toothaches. I mean, I guess if I had an active infection around an implant, I imagine that would be similar to a toothache that I would experience with my natural teeth. But I haven't had any infections, thank God. So I haven't had to deal with that, but there's no pain. Like I don't feel any of those different sensations that I used to feel with my natural teeth. So the sensitivity issues are no longer there. I can eat ice cream straight up without it like making my mouth feel crazy. Same thing with things that are like really hot, because I remember when my teeth were really tanking, and even before that, I've always been sensitive. So just those extreme temperatures would send shocks through my mouth, and I don't experience that at all anymore. So in that sense, it's a lot like having dentures. For those of you who have dentures, and you no longer have to deal with pain from teeth, not saying that you don't get sore spots and stuff like that from your dentures, but not having to deal with toothaches anymore is a absolute blessing. They're similar to dentures. If you could imagine having a denture fixed into your mouth that does not move around, that you do not take out, and the top of your mouth, your palate, is not covered up. So it kind of allows you to taste a little more fullness in your food. Like you can kind of taste the flavors a little better because there's more exposed there. But they're very similar to dentures because as I run my tongue across the back of them, they're acrylic. I mean, I used to do that all the time with my dentures, just feeling the slick acrylic with my tongue. It's kind of an obsessive thing that I do. I don't know if you guys do that or not, but I can still feel the plastic, and I'll put a picture in here so that you can see them in my mouth really good. They look like dentures when you pull my lips back. They look like dentures with the exception of the little metal pieces sticking out. So I hope that answers your question. It's very different from having your natural teeth, but it's not a bad thing, especially if you are coming from where I once was, where you are in constant pain. There's always a toothache. There's always an abscess or some kind of infection going on. You're constantly worried about teeth breaking off. And that's the thing, like with these, I know that I could potentially break a tooth. I haven't yet, so hopefully I never have to experience that. But if I do, it can be fixed a whole lot quicker and a whole lot easier and a whole lot cheaper than having to fix an entire tooth. You know what I mean? So if you have any more specific questions about the hybrid situation, leave it in the comment section below. Also, I want to remind you that I'm still going to do a Q&A this Thursday. So whatever questions you have in general, whether it's hybrid related or denture related, because I've had all of that, then leave it in the comment section below, and I'm going to start going through those questions over the next couple of days and select some of them to be in the next video. And if you guys enjoy those videos, I'm going to try to keep doing them to give you guys a condensed form of all of the information that I've probably talked about at some point on my channel, but I talk a lot, so it's hard to filter it out. If you appreciate these videos, if you find them helpful, one of the ways that you can support my channel is by liking this video, sharing the video with your friends, family, anybody who might be going through this as well, and subscribing to my channel. And then I will see you guys again on Thursday, and y'all take care.